Hi, good morning. Here with Dave Spittlehouse from Simpatico. How you doing, Dave?
Yeah, very well. Thanks, Mike. Good to see you.
And you, thanks very much for joining us on the Business Spotlight series. So, as always, if you could just start us off by giving us a little bit more background as to who you are, what it is that you do, and how long you've been doing it for, please, Dave.
Yeah, so I'm Dave from Simpatico, and we've been going since early 2017. But I've been in the industry itself in telecoms since 1998, so it's been my whole career. And we provide mobile phones, desk phones such as VoIP, and internet connections to just to the business sector. And all across the UK, to be fair, we've got lots of customers all over now. We're based in East Yorkshire, in Beverley, and we just like to bring the human element to what we do.
Great stuff. So, 2017,
Yeah.
what made you go from what you were doing before to setting up a business and with your other directors that we were having a bit of a chat about before we came on camera? Yeah, what was that spark for you? Where was the impetus?
Well, I'll do a very, very compacted history, but I started, I was at university and I ended up in 1998 and I quit university to open a market stall. And at that point, I was just selling things like ex-catalog items and things like that. But I had a guy that was in near me on the market stall, and he was selling mobile phones, and he had a long queue to his stall, and I got talking to him, and he said, "Well, I'm doing really well out of selling phones, and I wasn't doing particularly well doing what I was doing." So after talking to him a few times, I ended up opening my own mobile phone shop in 1998 near Doncaster, and over the preceding 3 or 4 years after that, I opened another another five, so there was six in total around this area. And it became, I thoroughly enjoyed the journey, thoroughly enjoyed dealing with the general public and all its challenges and learning so much about dealing with people. But in the end, I ended up shutting them down because the internet became more of a thing, and the networks themselves started opening their own shops. And I went to work for one of my suppliers, doing business to business. And in that point, at that time, I joined B&I as well, actually, in 2004. And I started to work for this company doing mobile phones for the next sort of 15 years. That business was bought out and I just didn't fit anymore. And through B&I, I had a B&I one-to-one. You probably know all about B&I.
Yeah.
And from that one-to-one, Simpatico was born, basically. I had a one-to-one with my fellow director now, Eric, and his wife, Lindsay, and we, at the end of that meeting, decided that we were going to build a business ourselves. They had a marketing business in B&I, and I was working for a telecoms business. So they said, "Well, you go sell some phones and we'll do the marketing." And that's how it was born. And that was early 2017. And in the last sort of 7 years, we've gone from just the three of us, then doing some marketing, me selling a few phones, to them sort of closing down the marketing business and then becoming full-time in phones. And we've gone from, a low starting turnover in 2017 to sort of about 1.5 million that we'll do this year. So in
Fantastic.
7 years, we've grown dramatically in this area. So
Great
yeah,
stuff.
it's been a great journey, to be fair. It's been a
Yeah,
fantastic
yeah. Great
experience.
story. So, in terms of uh, differentiating yourself or, I suppose attracting customers and growing that business, what is it for you that has helped you do that, do you think?
Well, when the business was started, and actually at that one-to-one where Simpatico was born at the end of it, I mean, I went into that one-to-one not expecting to come out with it with a new business, but that's what happened. That's the great thing about life. But during that meeting, when we started to think about what the business could look like, Eric said, "Well, I've never heard a bad word said about you in B&I, so why don't we call it the Really Nice Phone Company? And we just want to be nice people about it." And
Mhm.
anyway, we eventually decided that the Really Nice Phone Company would be too long a web address for people to type in and email addresses. So Eric went away and he came back and said, "Oh, well, I've come up with Simpatico. It's available as a .co.uk. It means easy and affable to get on with in Italian, and it's got the word SIM in it for SIM card." So it was like, okay, let's run with that. And our strap line then became, business phones from nice people. And we just want to bring the human element to business. You know, it's people can call us and talk to us, and we'll always want to sort of sort their problems out in the nicest way possible and the easiest way possible for them. So it's just bringing the human element and being nice, like that. That is it, and
Nice.
and that's genuine. It's not a forced thing.
Yeah.
It's who we are.
No, yeah, it comes across. I mean, in order to build a business that you're doing, you have to have a certain value set in place in order to keep and attract and retain customers. So, yeah, definitely that comes across. In terms of, you mentioned the business journey earlier there. I think you said it's been a great journey. That one of the questions was, if there's one word you could use to describe your journey today in business, what would it be? Would it be great? Is it anything else come to mind?
I would have said it. Yeah, I mean, great and enjoyable, and I think that comes from having passion what we do. You know, I love the world of technology. I love helping people embrace that, that the technology around us, and being able to provide that as a service. Yeah, that's longer than one word. I can't think of another word. I thought we've had a great experience. I think one thing about starting a business later in life, I mean, I'm not old, but I was in my 40s, is that I've learned a lot before that, and we were able to bring that to the party. I remember when I did start my business when I was sort of in my early 20s, you were a bit green really, and you learn along the way, but
yeah,
starting a business in your 40s, you've learned a lot and met a lot of people as well who are willing to help you along the way if you've helped them. So yeah, I've had a really good journey so far, really good. We've had our ups and downs, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's all been great. I mean,
yeah,
the classic success graph is always like this, it's like it's never a straight line up, and nor should it be. But yeah, no, we've had a great thing. I think working with good people as well. Like I've got good business partners. We always get on. We always listen to each other, and then implement the best advice or best thing that's come out of any meetings that we have, type thing. So we're good at that.
Brilliant. So what does the future look like for you guys then? What are the opportunities, challenges that you have ahead?
I mean, two challenges spring to mind. One is finding people like me and fellow directors to propel the business forward. But one thing I've learned over the last year in particular is actually, as a business owner, you're probably the best person to go out and market your business. I think a lot of people, when they're business owners, as they start to grow a bit, they tend to be, I don't know, in the weeds of it all and actually doing the stuff that they shouldn't really be doing because they're not that they're better than they're better placed to just go out on there and shout about their business and market it. So from the back of that, I've ended up getting a PA. So we've ended up getting a PA for the directors so that they can take care of all the stuff that we shouldn't really be doing, and going out there and doing more networking and meeting more people and pushing the business forward. So that's just been implemented this year. So that's one challenge that we've tried to overcome, and that is working. One challenge that's always going to persist for us is we do have great longevity with our customers. Lifetime value of our customers is high, and we keep them for many years. I mean, I've still got customers now that I've had for 20 years. And it's when somebody changes in the business, so when a new owner comes in or someone moves on, new people come in, and it's trying to keep that relationship going for years to come. That's always been a challenge, and always will be.
Sure.
Is a key one challenge that we'll lose a customer because someone else comes in and has no relationship with us, and then it's trying to keep that going, keep that relationship going. But that's
good shares there. Thank you, Ben. Yeah. Thank you very much. Especially in terms of the, I suppose, delegation of tasks that free you up to do more fee earning
not a natural
work.
delegator, so
yeah,
that's it was a tough challenge, but absolutely essential, and I would recommend it to anybody who's in a position to do that. Offload some of those tasks that I think we shouldn't be doing.
It's about habits, isn't it? I think a lot of business owners kind of and control and giving that up and saying, well, no one can do it perhaps as good as me, but the difference it can make to the business when you free up that time and that resource where you think, oh, actually,
easy to
why
say,
didn't I do this?
Yeah, it's hard to implement. I'll just do that. I can do it myself a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately you're just stifling your own growth, really.
It's a good share. Thank you for that, Dave. So, in terms of inspiration about what you do, you mentioned you like helping people.
Yeah.
Anything else that kind of, I suppose, inspires you to, yeah, to make the business work?
Um, yeah, I think in me as well, I like to get deal over the line. So I think if you've got that passion, like it always excites me, even though we've got 650 customers to get the next customer. Like I'm absolutely love that, and I've been doing it first thing this morning. Someone's just come on my radar, and I'm picked up the phone, had a chat to them, and looks like we're sending some stuff out to them. So that just gives me the buzz every day.
Never leaves you.
Yeah, it's just I just love it, and I don't think I'll ever stop loving it. And I think other business people's journeys, because like your podcast, things like that, that inspires me. I'm always listening to podcasts about business journeys, and not just the billionaire business journeys, but
Yeah.
the ones like ours. I think they're the most inspirational. I love listening to that. I love listening to different podcasts all the time. That keeps me fired up.
That learning journey, it sounds like that you're like, but I think being in business, you can't, you have to learn because there's so many facets to it along the way in order to grow your business and be successful, whatever that means for you. That constantly learning the next thing you need to in order to keep the business going. If you don't like you'd struggle in business.
No, yeah, you don't want it to be miserable. Like, enjoy the journey. We all look to this point where we may either sell or exit or whatever it may be, but actually enjoy the journey.
Sure.
So I think what happens is once people do stop doing this, they really do miss the buzz of the day to day.
Yeah, definitely. You hear about people who get to retirement and then they don't know what to do. There's an identity that's missing, and so that kind of transition has to be managed if you're going to retire. Some people don't want to retire; they want to keep going until the end.
Yeah.
Have you got plans in terms of is it a retirement for you guys, or is it selling out, or is it just an open book at the moment?
I think you're supposed to have the end in sight. I think. Ultimately, I think I'd like to see it be handed over to somebody else. I think that would be nice. Build something up that's X million turnover, and then. But yeah, what that looks like when I get there, I don't know. But I think we're building something to eventually sell, so someone can take care of it as when we get too old to do the day to day.
So if someone came up to you and said, Dave, can you give me some advice, please? I'm thinking of starting a business. What would you give in terms of that advice?
Make sure you're resilient and you built up some resilience, because you will get an awful lot of no's. And as long as you can be passionate about getting those yeses. So like I said about the success curve, when I think back to all the customers that we either didn't win or we've lost over the years, but we've got a tremendous business of lots of people that do love us. And I think that's a bit to focus on. So don't worry so much if you get no's and losing customers or whatever. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but it's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. You will not have a steady curve upwards. So build that resilience inside you, and also be passionate about what you do. Be excited about what you do. If you're going to get up out of bed every morning and think, "Oh, I don't want to do this," then that's just not going to work. I mean, I think Steve Jobs put that. People who are entrepreneurs usually are a bit insane. It's like you've got to love what you do. You've got to love doing this each day and grinding it out and getting new business and not getting knocked down too much in your brain. So I think passion and resilience, I think, are my two things that have enabled us to keep going. I mean, those first 2 years were super tough.
Yeah, competitive market you're in as well.
Yeah, we're in a competitive. Yeah, absolutely. We've adapted and learned, and I think that's the other thing is problem solving. So, just don't keep doing the same thing all the time. Try and innovate and move forward like that. And I think, like I said, just enjoy the journey. Because I mean, I heard a quote recently that some of the other people are jealous of your success, but they're never jealous of how you got there. You know, they're really, it's true. It's never true. I said, everyone sees the person who's, you know, either sold the business or whatever, or driving around in a fancy car, or whatever. But actually, what did they sacrifice to get to that point? And as long as you can enjoy the sacrifice and get to that, then you'll be all right. So passion and resilience, I think, is definitely the main thing.
Yeah, another couple of sort of great shares in there. That listening to that, yeah, that success. Another quote that I heard is, "It's always the price of success." I think it's Jamil Qureshi. Is always paid upfront and in full. So
yes.
people don't kind of see, what it took to get to that success, and successful people. Another one from him actually. Are prepared to do the things that unsuccessful people aren't, and that's
absolutely. I told myself that last week when I 2 weeks ago when we were exhibiting in Earl's Court in London, and getting down there through the floods and stand up and oh my word, you know what I mean? Like about 3 days of just you know, very little sleep and no downtime. You know, it was fantastic. I loved it. Do you know what I mean? And we came away with it with, you know, a couple of 100 business cards and so far 10 new customers. So it was well worth it, and the buzz from it is great. But I was driving there thinking, I don't think there's many people that do this sort of stuff, really. Like, so you're right, absolutely. A great quote as well, yeah. Absolutely brilliant quote.
So then lastly, Dave, if we kind of sum it up, if there's any latest news that you'd want to share with people watching, or it's a case of just finding you guys, if they want to get in touch and understand a little bit more about what you do, feel free to do that now.
Yeah, well, one thing we have just launched is actually our online web shop. So I will plug that. So that's at the simpatico.co.uk website. There isn't an awful lot of competition in that space for us. So people can go in, look at all the latest devices, any network, all the different data combinations, and all the pricing is all on there. So you can order directly from there as well. And we're currently pushing that out through Google. And we've had our first few completely organic, you know, customers from different parts of the UK, and that's just starting to grow a little bit. But that only launched about 6 weeks ago, something like that. So that's awesome. Something to be able to go and have a look at. Because in our space, a lot of the business to business telecoms people, they just have a generic website that just says give us a call or an email and we'll try and sort you out. Whereas we do that obviously, but we want to push something UK wide where people can actually go in and get business telecoms online and compare prices, etc. So it's very great stuff.
Check it out. We'll mention it in the bio when we put it on YouTube and LinkedIn for you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Great stuff, Dave. Absolute pleasure chatting with you. Thank you very much for sharing all that you have, and some of those really good lessons based on your experience that we'll look forward to sharing out. And I wish you all the best for the future success of the business.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mike.